good, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Now, guess what? Today, we are about to explore a town community by the name of Port St. John, Florida. It's nestled in Brevard County between Cocoa and Titusville. Now, if this is your first time tuning in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. You know that notification bell do, right? Every time I post a vlog, you will not miss it. Now, let's go explore this town. Today we're about to explore Port St. John, Florida. I've known about Port St. John, Florida since the 1990s, though it always felt more like a community than an actual town. In 2002, a group of 5 residents formed an organization called Port St. John for Tomorrow, PSJ4T, in an effort to incorporate the area as a city. Their proposed plan included not only Port St. John, but also 5 surrounding communities: Dells Pine, Williams Point, Hardyville, Frontenac, and part of Sharps. However, PSJ4T did not inform these communities in advance. Once the residents found out, many voiced strong opposition to being included in the incorporation efforts. Despite the resistance, PSJ4T requested a feasibility study, which voters approved. The study, funded by Brevard County and conducted by the University of Central Florida, was later reviewed by 5 committees in Tallahassee, all of which found it deeply flawed. Nevertheless, the county allowed the residents of Port St. John and 5 communities to vote on whether to form a new city. State Legislator Howard Futch and Randy Ball sponsored the bills, CS HB 1071, in the Senate and House. In November 2002, the incorporation effort was overwhelmingly defeated. 73% voted against it, including the majority of the neighboring communities. Under state law, Port St. John was barred from seeking incorporation again for 10 years. In 2012, the community gained national attention after a tragic incident in which a mother shot and killed her 4 teenage children before taking her own life. In January 2013, Port St. John faced another crisis when a brush fire ignited just outside the community. By January 13, the fire had burned more than 1,000 acres and forced the closure of both lanes of State Route 407. All right, let's get into some of the information about Port St. John. Port St. John is a CDP located in Brevard County, Florida. Port St. John has a 2025 population of 27,391. Port St. John is currently growing at a rate of 3.82% annually, and its population has increased by 14.42% since the most recent census, which recorded a population of 23,940 in 2020. The average household income here in Port St. John is $99,533. Port St. John's average per capita income is $46,594. The household income levels shows a median of $84,214. Now, for those who don't know or who plan to move to this area, I would like you guys to know that Port St. John has a nuclear plant, and I'm going to show you guys right now. Do you guys hear that noise? That's the sound coming from those vents from that nuclear plant right here. Now, the poverty rate here stands at 10.5%, and that's lower than the national U.S. average. The poverty rate for children under 18 in Port St. John, Florida is 11.3%. The median age here in Port St. John is 45.1 years, 45.1 years for males, and 45.1 years for females. Now let's talk about the demographics here. White 84.62%, two or more races 7.68%, black or African American 4.83%, other race 1.28%, Asian 1.4%, Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander 0.35%, Native American 0.22%. Now, the overall marriage rate here stands at 54.7%. Male marriage rate 56.8%. Female marriage rate 52.7%. Now, the median home value here in Port St. John is $364,500. Now, is it some good paying jobs in this area? And yes, it is. You do have SpaceX, you have Kennedy Space Center, and you also have a nuclear plant, which I will be showing you guys in this vlog. Also, Port St. John, Florida has schools serving all three levels, elementary, middle, and high schools. The area is part of the Brevard County School District, which includes multiple schools in and around Port St. John. Alright guys, right here used to be the flea market here, and I guess it's been closed for a long time because this place looks like it's falling apart. That looked like it used to be the office there, and the businesses on the side of me that went with it. Also, the whole flea market part is all abandoned. I am about to drive through here and show you guys this real fast while we explore this town. And it's crazy how things used to be the light of the town and it's now closed and abandoned. All that you see behind this fence used to be the flea market. I'm going to drive down the other side of the street to show you guys some more. The property is fenced off, so I'm not going to welcome myself inside this building trespassing. I'm just going to drive by and show you guys it. I'm gonna get out and show you guys some of this. You can see the old flea market tables out here. You can see some of the tables that they used to have where people used to sell their stuff at on these tables right here. And right here, you can read it says private property, so we're not going in. But yes, flea market open 8 to 4, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's now closed and it's now abandoned, guys. All this property here, you'll think somebody will buy it and build something else. All this abandoned property here, guys, you would think somebody would buy this property and put something here more interesting. Probably more businesses or whatnot, but visit money here for businesses. Now, as we ride through Port St. John, you're gonna see it's a lot of homes here. It's a lot of people live here, so it should be some money here. But we're going to find out today as we explore Port St. John, Florida. Check out this old gas station, guys, what's now abandoned. Check this out, guys. But yeah, this used to be an old gas station, guys, and I spotted it while I was across the street over there to that flea market I just showed you guys. Hey, they still have the old telephone booth stand sitting here, guys. Let me show you. Now, guys, Port St. John do not have a downtown area, so we won't be doing any downtown exploring in this vlog here. Now, does it have public transportation here? Yes, it has Space Coast Area Transit. Provides public transportation service in Port St. John, Florida. They offer bus routes that connect Port St. John with other parts of Brevard County, including stops at shopping centers, government buildings, colleges, and hospitals. Now, is Port St. John, Florida safe? Well, it gets AA. The A grade indicates that the area of crime is much lower than that of the average U.S. city. Port St. John ranks in the 88th percentile for safety, meaning it's safer than 88% of cities, but less safe than 12%. This analysis applies only to Port St. John's official city boundaries. The crime rate in Port St. John is 12.91 per 1,000 residents in a typical year. Port St. John residents generally consider the west part of the city to be the safest. Your chance of being a victim of crime in Port St. John varies by neighborhood, ranging from 1 in 54 in the southeast neighborhoods to 1 in 101 in the west part of the city. Right now, we're about to explore through some of the neighborhoods here in Port St. John, Florida. Show you guys some of the older homes and some of the more updated homes as we look throughout these neighborhoods. But as I've been seeing, Port St. John is an older community, and they do have newer homes in other parts, but unfortunately I was not able to get all of that. I got what I can, and like I do when I come to a lot of these towns, I come to explore a lot of things that I like to see. I'm here to explore what those who watch my YouTube channel loves to see, just like I love to see. I'm not here to talk down about the town or to make any town look bad. I'm just here to enjoy myself as I explore as a visitor. Now, if you're thinking about moving here, you may want to do more research. The research that I did provide is factual, and the prices on the real estate can change because we all know how real estate is. It's up and it's down. So it can be this price at this moment and be different later on. Also, you may can find fixer-uppers here in Port St. John, fix them up and move in. As I explore through these neighborhoods, I see a lot of people that are inside these homes fixing them up and probably reselling them or renting them out. This area has a lot of history, and if you are from Port St. John, leave a comment below. Tell us more about your experience living here, and is it more things to do in this area here? I do live in Brevard, and I do live down in Melbourne, Florida, so I know the whole county. To be honest with you, I have been through it all, but it may be some things you may know that I don't know, and please share it in the comments below. Alright guys, I am done here in Port St. John. Now, if this is your first time tuning in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with all the vlogs that I post. Now, I thank you all for watching, and until next vlog, you guys, I'll catch you later.